Good morning, traders. Quick rundown what I'm seeing in the markets today here. So, one critical thing that I try to look for in trying to identify some resistance areas when we're breaking out to new all-time highs, I try to identify the most recent relevant swing low, and then I try to predict a 1, 2, 3, 4% move above that swing low area. Okay, the even number amounts, and I try to put those on my charts. And so what we've got going on here this morning here on the ES is we came down off this swing low. We came down Friday and in the overnight session, and we came right down to that 1% move off these swing lows right here, and they defended that, and now we're rallying up, breaking out of this trading range. So it looks like to me we are setting up for further continuation to the upside, possibly getting a move like this to the upside starting off today, breaking out here. Oh, my cat, wouldn't you know it? Yeah, as soon as that sun comes up, he's got to be let out every day. So odds, in my opinion, are that we are moving into a price discovery zone, breaking out of this consolidation, and we could squeeze pretty fast to the upside here. So definitely want to keep this on watch going forward here. Okay, guys. That move Thursday on the Nasdaq really was quite compelling here. So we have to be very mindful going into these numbers this week. What's going on here in the markets? Okay. Uh, we've had a very strong move here. So our, we've had a strong move, which can continue to be a strong move here on the ESs. So I definitely want to keep this one on watch. We have the weekly call wall currently at 6,400 on the ESs. Sometimes that can be different with if you use SPY or the Qs from the futures. But I try to really focus in on the 6,400 here. It's a very important area here for the markets. Um, I was looking for a mid-cycle 2% drawback down last week, which we never got. So, uh, yeah, this will be go down in history as one of the few times when the cycle this time of the year actually doesn't draw down. Well, it looks like we didn't get it. So, but we are getting into the core of earnings season with the second biggest week of earnings this week, earnings season this week. Okay. Okay, what we got here? Slash NQ. If I can get it to work. Other things I got going on here on that. So we're 2% off of the support down here. Okay. This here was a very powerful move right here. You see how the MACD on the 2-hour, how this, how we get the hook above the trend line. Okay. That's a very powerful signal when we hook above the trend line, above that trend line. So see right here, we had similar situation and we continue to the upside. Is there another one? Right, now that one went too far. This one here was a close one. Can't really get anything from that one. But generally speaking, if you're getting a hook on your MACD on the 2-hour above the zero line, that's a very bullish pattern, bullish structure. Just be very mindful of that. Another big takeaway I got this week, and we have to be very mindful of that. NQs and the ESs have quite a bit of volume on the futures. Okay, so you can actually use either one of those for your call walls. Targeted call walls going forward. And I do want to point out here, 23,800 is now our targeted call wall. That's about a 4% move off of these support lows. So that'd be a range. That'd be a 4% move. Remember, guys, we're kind of looking for something like this to be developing here after this consolidation, and now we're setting up for a breakout. So my main takeaway on this is the fact that we got this earnings week coming out, and a lot of the options riders or not comfortable riding a lot of options close to in the money here on the Nasdaq. So I just want to point that out. It doesn't mean that we're going to go higher at all. It just suggests to me, they were not willing to write, given the trend and everything going on. We're trying to break out of, as of Friday, very tight trading range. Everything looks like we're going to go higher. Um, they were not comfortable writing call, uh, taking in call premium in any size close to the uh, like even the 3%. You would have thought 3% they would have been loading up and trying to sell premium at that price point. But all most of the volumes hitting up here 4%, suggesting that's actually suggesting we're going to get more legs in the market. Okay. Okay, the Russell guys. Okay, we are into a major trend too here on the S&P, so be mindful of that. The Russell, basically, you know, we got this resistance right here, this resistance here, here. We're right into that resistance, possibly falling away from that early on this morning. So this is actually resistance to prove it otherwise. If we were opening, if we had been looking above and setting up for a back test, I'd be more bullish on the Russell. This here is more of a bearish pattern starting this morning. IWM. Another thing we have to be main takeaway here, we've seen solid selling pressure at around the 225 area. 225 monthly calls on the IWM. Okay, and so we've seen a lot of selling pressure. We're currently trading below that. So, be mindful of that. If we were coming in, pushing out above 225 in the pre-market, I'd been looking for the back, see if the 225 become new support. So again, like I said, it's still like a little bit more of a bearish pattern where price action is opening early on this morning. So we have to be mindful of that. And we're still in this sideways chop, so be very mindful of that. Also, the Russell doesn't have that much volume, so you really don't want to use on the futures markets. So you want to be using the IWM for the weekly call wall. So currently the weekly call wall is at 230. That is lining up with these prior highs, the 230 area. Well, it goes back a little bit further. You have to go bigger time frame. 4 hour maybe. I have to go daily. That lines up way back here. Okay, guys, way back into January. So basically, they're targeting a call wall into the January highs here on the Russell. Okay, guys, so let's be mindful of that. I'm not big time bearish on the Russell. I'm just saying, ideally, I would have liked to seen us opening above 225 and that become new support. Yeah, for me to be bullish on the Russell. That's kind of my theory, my thinking, current thinking on the whole Russell thing. And I do want to point out here, you see how this trend is. A lot of times, this is how patterns start. We got this inverse head and shoulders. We get the breakout, boom, right up into this trend line, right into that weekly 230. All the ingredients are here for the higher move, but technically for me, the way I trade, it's just not really set up for me to be taking longs at this point. Okay. Early on this morning, Tesla was getting the most interest that I was seeing. We do have a potential range breakout, a resistance breakout. Um, so, we want to see 332 become new support, and we go into this range up into the 343s. Okay, guys, I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but that's kind of what I'm seeing this morning. The only problem with this trade that I've got here, okay, guys, it depends on what time frame you're looking at here. Okay, if you're looking at this time frame, you're still halfway. You're right halfway in the middle of this trading range right here. Okay, and this is from the early June. You're already halfway in the middle of that trading range. And then if you look in a bigger time frame, um, May, yeah, June, yeah, okay, yeah, that's June there, yeah, okay, so you are slightly This up here would be about halfway. Up here is about halfway between this high and this low, up in this area right here. Okay, so that'd be about the 350 area. That gets you about middle ways on the bigger time frame, the 350 area, which we're not that far away from. So maybe that's what they're trying to do here. We're setting up for a move to the midpoint, the bigger time frame. That does make some sense. I move back into that 350 area, midpoint area. So heads up on that. So guys, I put it this way: I wouldn't want to be short at Tesla. So heads up on that. Other things I was looking at this morning, Apple's just stuck in the range here. Okay, guys, it's technically a bear flag. We're underneath this level right here, the basically the 220 area. We're hanging out below that 220. Looks like a bear flag till it doesn't. So depending on how you want to look at it, this still bear flag. I mean, if you're going from the bigger time frame, that's a bear flag. The smaller time frame, maybe it's looking as a bull flag. So just heads up on that. Honestly, if we're breaking out to higher levels, at some point in time, you would think Apple would start outperforming. Okay, guys. So be very mindful of that. You would think at some point in time Apple would start outperforming. So let's definitely keep this on watch. We are above the. Let's see here, which one's which. Okay, that's the daily 100. So we have crossed above the daily 100, but we've done that for a couple of days now. Not going anywhere from that. This is the daily 10 SMA. Heads up on that. It's rolling over a little bit here. So be very mindful of that as well. The daily 10 showing some, a little bit of weakness. That could be a leading indicator. Let's definitely keep that one on watch. Okay. Apple, Microsoft. Microsoft's been a beast. Getting away from our daily 10. Looks like we're retracing a little bit early on this morning. We're way away from our daily 10. Every time we get into the 10, they keep buying it. It just looks like we're just a little bit extended away from that daily 10 and today early on this morning. So we'll see how that plays out going forward here. Even the last week's highs, so we had was that Friday breakout? Yeah, Friday afternoon breakout, and we're still above those highs, those prior highs, and it's being defended so far this morning. So be very mindful of that. Everything looking bullish on that. SMH. Everything's still looking bullish on that. See, we're above the 10 SMA. This is our 10 SMA. How we're just hanging right above that 10 SMA. We're not really seeing much sell side action at all in that scenario. Okay, we have hit a target area here on the SMH. I have my FIDs drawn out here. We've been building a base sideways here, and we are extended away from the 10. That would suggest to me that we could see some downside this morning back into the 10. So be very mindful of that. Very good chance that we get some downside back into our 10 SMA or worse. Okay, and that puts us back down into the 287 area. That would put us down here if we were to get that. Okay, guys. So let's keep that one in the back of our minds going forward here. I know everybody's bullish, but that's something to think about. Maybe they do want to bring that back down early on this week. Let's see how that plays out. Okay. Let's see some other ones. Just go check my main chart out here real quick. And then we'll go from there. Things happening this morning. So we have some Bitcoin. Okay, guys. So Bitcoin is a little bit down this morning. This is one of your Bitcoin names, down a little bit this morning. Ethereum is okay. So some of our altcoins might be taken off today. Let's keep an eye on that. The altcoins, Nvidia. Let's go back over here on my bigger time frame charts. Nvidia this morning really extended away from the 10 SMA. That always bothers me. We got a gap, so we need time for the 10 SMA to catch up, or we need a price correction. So my point is we got a big gap here on NVIDIA. Be concerned about that they may want to. So we need either the 10 SMA to catch up, or so I can see some sideways digestion on this one. Definitely keep this one on watch. We have hit a potential targeted area. So you see how, we're just kind of all morning long, we're just kind of going sideways along that. Yeah. So be very careful on that. Yeah. Definitely be very careful on that. Like I said, coming back down into the 169 is not a big deal. They might want to come bring her all the way back down, tag the 10 SMA, or even fill the gap. So a few little things that I'm looking at here on the NVIDIA trade. What other things here we got here on our list over here? Misty, Oracle, Marathon's another one of your crypto names. Hood. Just kind of taking a breather today. Palantir is not even on the list this morning. FCX. Copper must be on HG/HG. Copper or gold must be on the move today. Yeah, we're up on copper this morning. Looking at bigger time frames. Yeah, copper's having a good rally here. You typically see the commodities outperform in the last stages of a market cycle. So definitely keep this one on watch. FCX, where are we at on it? Not really been participating too much here. Wow, I like this, guys. Do you see the pattern here? This here is a inverse head and shoulders. Okay, guys. Right here. Put this right here. I like this. I like this to the bullish side. And why is that? I'll show you right here, guys. So bottom line is this inverse head and shoulders. We've come up. Now we've back tested. This thing is, to me, looks like it's ready for a breakout. Potentially ready for a breakout. So be very mindful of this. Just be very, very mindful of this. Potentially ready for a breakout move here in FCX. We'll see how it plays out, but that's something I definitely keep on my watch. China internets are still on fire here. Remember, guys, they're doing stimulus in China. So heads up on that. Alibaba's not on my list. I'm really pissed. I tried to play Baba last week. I stopped out. And that thing just having a wonderful, wonderful move here on Alibaba to the upside. Probably into that trend. There's a downward trend line here. Setting up for a trend line breakout. There you go, guys. If you go down here on the smaller time frame, there you go, guys. We're getting the trend line breakout today. Heads up on that. Potential trend line breakout. I would have liked to seen us up here. What was how did I make that purple from? That's a major delineation point. I would have much rather seen us up here early on this morning and setting up for the back test coming in. This is actually looking like more of a bearish chart pattern right here, right now. So be very mindful of that. Be careful. Be very careful. I'd like to see higher prices if I was going to take it long. There it is. Baba's down here. I'm sorry. Lighter volume down here on Alibaba. We got Google on here. Apple's on here. AMD. Oh, a lot of people are watching AMD for further higher prices. A lot of people are looking at AMD for higher prices. So, yeah, we're higher this morning. Let's see here. I'm going to have to go on a 2-year and look at it better here. Get a better look at what we're looking at here. So, Alibaba, or no, AMD, I would be looking at this right here. This is a big delineation line on the Yeah, I'd have to take it all the way down to here. Turn that into a pink line real quick here. This will be the last one I do. Take her down 1 hour now. We'll see what we're at. There you guys go. See what we did right here? We came right up to that resistance, and now we're rejecting, and now we're doing a back test. This technically is a short to me. So guys, heads up, this is textbook what I look for a short. Come up to resistance, fail, back test. I mean, that to me is a screaming short setup going into today. Knowing your stop is, anywhere up in here. Anywhere up in here, your stop, you can make it way up here, or bottom line is you don't want to break above these highs. Give yourself enough time. You can buy even a couple weeks out on the options or something like that. Just know your stop. Okay, guys. So, bottom line is we're into resistance. If you're just using support and resistance levels and not any of the other indicators, this right here looks like a short to me going into today's session. Okay, guys. Oh, Google real quick because it is showing up. Google's continuing to go here. I got to go bigger time frame. I'm sorry. Google. We're coming up higher here. Wow. I got a lot of crap on my chart here, guys. So we're right into this area right here. This is a resistance area, in my opinion. Yeah. Yeah, I'd have to put this as resistance. We're coming right to that. Turn this into pink. I would have to classify this as resistance. Go down the 1 hour. And actually, we're breaking above resistance early on this morning. Heads up on that. So it is what it is, So this, I would be looking for a move up, come back down for the back test, possibly enter long. Okay, guys. So this can be turned to green. Potentially, this should be turned to green as well early on in today's session. Okay, thanks a lot. Like my video if you get a chance. Comments below are appreciated. And I will see you in the trading rooms.